Want to thank everybody for being here. And again, as you can kind of see, building an end-to-end AI sales engine in HubSpot. Again, thank you. But just to get started, I do want to start with just a simple kind of question. How many of you are already paying for the AI tools inside HubSpot that your team hasn't either fully turned on or hasn't even operationalized yet? Like, are they even using it? That's becoming probably the most common question that we're having, the most common conversation. Every company is being told to, really adopt AI. Pipeline goals are increasing. Teams are being asked to do just, more with a little bit less. Organizations, already have all these powerful AI tools available, and they're just not simply using them in a connected way. We all have different types of AI that we're all kind of using almost individually. But that's what this webinar today is about. This isn't going to be an hour of AI theory or predictions about the future. Again, it's all kind of crazy. Instead, we're going to show you kind of what an AI-powered revenue engine actually looks like inside HubSpot today. You'll see how companies are increasing visibility in AI search, capturing and qualifying website visitors, generating that pipeline, and converting that interest into legitimate booked meetings. Most importantly, you'll see how all of these pieces connect together, because individually, these tools are interesting, they're great, but connected, they become an actual revenue engine. Now, a little bit about us. Who are we? For many of you that don't know, Vonazon is a full-service AI-enabled HubSpot Elite Solutions partner. We've completed more than 3,000 implementations, supported thousands of onboarding engagements, and helped over 5,000 customers get, more value from HubSpot. It's been a wild ride. But what makes us unique is that we work across the entire customer journey, from marketing to sales, service, operations, integrations, AI adoption, and of course, helping companies connect everything into one revenue system. So today, what we'll kind of be going through is that single revenue journey. I'll start by introducing the, answer engine optimization, or of course the AEO, why AI visibility matters more than ever. Chloe will then come in to show how companies are using AEO to drive qualified traffic. Sheena will demonstrate Customer Agent, how businesses are capturing intent from website visitors in real time. Sabrina will show how Prospecting Agent turns those signals into the pipeline. And Will from Aloware, our partner, will demonstrate how AI voice and SMS help convert opportunities into those legit booked meetings. By the end of today's session, you'll see all of these tools, how they work together as one connected revenue system. Now, let's start with where the modern buying journey begins. It's visibility. Buyers aren't using just Google anymore. They're opening ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Claude, and asking questions. Who are the best HubSpot partners? Who knows, the best integrations? What solutions should I be considering? How should my pipeline be configured? AI is now influencing who makes the short list before a buyer ever visits a website. That means if your company isn't showing up in those conversations, you may be missing opportunities before you even know they exist. That's why AEO matters. Now, this represents the entire story we're telling today. As I mentioned, everything starts with visibility. You need to show up where buyers are asking AI for answers. Once they arrive, Customer Agent engages visitors and captures intent. Those intent signals help identify the right opportunities. Prospecting Agent turns those opportunities into pipeline, and Aloware's Conversion Agent allows or helps transform that pipeline into conversations, meetings, and revenue. The key takeaway is simple. The future isn't about having more AI tools. It's about connecting AI tools together to create better business outcomes. That's what an end-to-end AI sales engine is all about. Now, just to kind of let you know a little bit about some of the HubSpot foundation, this starts, of course, in HubSpot. Your brand kit, your company profile, products and services, ideal customer profile, buyer personas, and positioning all help AI understand who you are and who you serve. Without that foundation, visibility becomes difficult. With it, AI can begin recommending your business to the right buyers at the right time. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of a demo just to show kind of where you need to get started. So, of course, bear with me. I'll be sharing my screen and kind of showing a couple things within the HubSpot CRM that will allow us to get started. So, sharing. If one of my teammates can give me a thumbs up that they can actually see my screen, I appreciate it. Now, with that being said, I'm going to start off really simply here. One thing I want everybody to understand, things have already moved around in HubSpot. The AI data sources used to be under AI and in data sources. They're no longer there. Where are they? If you scroll on that left-hand side, that far left, you're going to see Breeze and you're going to see context. Now, in context is now where all this information lives, the AI data sources. So first, we're going to be filling out the brand kits, identifying classification, location, and scale, and your business profile. The most important parts about this is pretty much making sure that this fits your business. Who are you? Of course, filling out the customers. Who are you, your ideal customers? Who are you going after? And of course, your own team. Of course, you can see me right here. Now, the most important part of this is that this isn't the only place to fill out information in the HubSpot CRM that's going to help the AI. So this will help your prospecting. That's part of this. The next part is actually going to be in marketing and in brand. Now you're probably wondering, why are these in different places? Ask HubSpot. But the next part about this, of course, is in this brand and filling out this actual information. As you can also see, data sources. So if we go to data sources, you're going to see the company profile, the ideal customer profile, and of course, your products and services. If I click on my company profile, again, it brings me down into this same area. So we want to make sure all this gets filled out, make sure all of this gets taken care of, because what we're going to be going over today all flows through here. So I'll end my screen there, let you guys all understand that this information is incredibly important. And without further ado, I'm going to bring in our first speaker, who's going to be Chloe Papke. Chloe, take it away.
Hey guys, thanks Miles. Okay, so I'm gonna get on started. So, when is the last time that you Googled your own brand? Now, when is the last time you asked ChatGPT about it? So, those are very two different answers. And for most businesses right now, only one of them is actually shaping whether a buyer puts you on their shortlist. And here's what's changed. 2 years ago, your buyer's journey started with a Google search. They clicked a few links and maybe found you. That was the game. And that game is very different now. So 27% of organic traffic has declined year over year. 60% of Google searches end without a single click. And 900 million people a week are using AI tools to research. And here's what most people miss. The average Google search is 3 words, and the average prompt typed into an AI tool is 25 to 30 words. That's a completely different kind of buyer. They're not browsing, they're researching with full context. They're asking things like, what's the best CRM for a fast-growing sales team that needs better marketing alignment and has a RevOps function? Whew. And they're getting a direct answer back with brand recommendations already baked in. So visitors who land on your site from an AI referral convert at 4.4 times the rate of organic traffic. These are not browsers. These are buyers who already trust you before they arrive. So here's the problem. Most companies have no idea whether they're showing up in those answers at all. There's no Google Search Console for AI. You can't rank check it. You're completely blind to your own visibility. So, what HubSpot did was they tested this on themselves first. They tracked their own AI visibility, they figured out what content was getting cited, adjusted their strategy, and saw a 1,850% increase in qualified leads from AI. And yeah, that's not a typo. That is 1,850%. And the tool that they built to do it is what I'm going to walk through right now. But before I jump in, I want to say one thing that will reframe everything. So, when someone asks an AI tool to recommend a product, it's not just reading your website. It's pulling from earned media, peer review sites, Reddit threads, YouTube, competitor sites, third-party blogs, and yes, your own domain. But here's the number that changes how you think about this. Your own website typically makes up 4 to 8% of the citation mix. So that means that 92 to 96% of your AI visibility is happening on sites you don't own, in conversations you didn't start. And the brands winning in AI search are the ones with the broadest, most credible presence across all the places AI actually looks. So now let's go and see what that looks like. I take over the screen real fast. Let me find it here. All right. Perfect. Okay. Let me scroll on up. Okay. So I pulled up our demo account. We're using HubSpot.com as the example brand, and I really love this choice because if HubSpot itself has gaps in its AI visibility, it makes the point very clearly that no brand is too big or too well known to have blind spots. So the first thing that we see here is the brand visibility score. It's at 72.73%. So that is the percentage of the prompts we're tracking where HubSpot shows up in an AI-generated response. And for a brand this well known, that's a really strong number. But here's the thing about this score. It is a headline, it's not a diagnosis. And to understand what's actually driving it or hurting it, we need to go deeper. So let's flip over to the sentiment analysis. So the sentiment measures not just whether you show up, but actually how AI describes you when you do. And the scale runs from -100 to +100%. And HubSpot's overall score right now is at 70.75, which is really strong. So let's look at the engine breakdown though. So right now, ChatGPT is at 71.7%, Gemini is at 69.5%, and Perplexity is at 69.5% as well. You could see there's been a lot of fluctuations in this chart, so I've had to update my script quite often. So it's same brand, 3 different AI engines, and 3 very different impressions. And that's not random. That's a signal that these tools are sourcing from different content. And whatever they're finding, they're painting sometimes a more favorable or a less favorable picture. So we'll see exactly why when we get to citations, but let's scroll down really fast because I want to show you guys this competitor landscape, which is also really important. So HubSpot right now is leading the share of voice at 25%. But let's look how tight this is. So Salesforce is at 23, Zoho's at 21, and Pipedrive is at 20. So that is only a 5-point spread across 4 major competitors. Nobody really owns this category in AI search yet, but that's actually an opportunity. The category leader isn't locked in. And look at Freshworks here at the bottom at 6%. So their actual market presence is much larger than that, but this is what AI and visibility looks like. A brand a lot of people know that are barely registering in the conversations that shape buying decisions. And if we keep scrolling, we'll get a little preview down here of our citation data before we go deeper on it. So look at the top domains. Salesforce is here at 128, Pipedrive at 117, and HubSpot in third at 95. So a competitor's website is showing up more than HubSpot's own domain when AI answers these prompts. And that's not a content quality issue, that's just a coverage and distribution issue. So let's look at the prompts tab. So each row here is a real question that buyers are typing into AI tools right now. And on the right, you can see HubSpot's visibility score for each one. And let's look at the range. So what's the best CRM for aligning sales and marketing? 100. Which CRM software do mid-market revenue teams typically use? Also 100%. So really strong across anything that sounds like a product evaluation question. But let's look at these. What makes it hard for sales to adopt new CRM software? Why do revenue teams struggle to keep CRM data clean? Both are at 0%. So it's the same company, same product, but when a buyer is in the early stage, recognizing they have a problem, not yet searching for a solution, HubSpot's not part of that conversation right now at all. So those are the prompts where someone is forming their shortlist before they ever type a brand name. And that gap, it doesn't show up in your aggregate score. You need a prompt level view to find it. And let's go to citations to really stop guessing and start diagnosing. So here's a little stat that surprises people every time. The number one cited source in AI generated answers is, make some guesses, Reddit. Number two is LinkedIn. It's not brand websites, it's not Google. Peer communities and social platforms where AI looks first for trust signals are what are leading. So let's look at citations by content type report on the left here. So blog is number one at 32.3%, listicle at 17.2%, and guides at 13.4%. The formats that are structured, specific, and easy for AI to parse are actually winning. And now let's look at the citations by channel here on the right. Peer sites are driving 65% of citations. Earned media is at 14.2, and here's the one that always gets people. Competitor sites are at 13.4%. So competitor-owned content is actively being used to answer HubSpot-related prompts. And HubSpot's own website is at 3.8%. So when I look at citation data like this, I am diagnosing one of three types. A content coverage gap means you don't have content addressing certain prompts at all. A format gap means you have content, but not in the formats that AI prefers to cite. And an authority gap means your own domain is thin and third-party sources aren't picking you up either. And HubSpot has a little bit of all three showing up here, but the good news is that the recommendations tab has already turned that into a prioritized action plan. So let's go look at it. Okay, so here we can see that there are 8 recommendations. And before I even open one, I want to show you guys how they're categorized. So we have owned content, social amplification, and outreach. And if we scroll over here, we can actually rank them by priority. So right now, the highest priority recommendation, it's not a blog post, it's actually a social amplification play on Reddit. So let's think about that. What happened was the tool analyzed the citation data, saw that peer channels make up nearly 60% of citations, saw that the CRM data hygiene prompts are sitting at 0% visibility, and its recommendation was, hey, go participate in the Reddit conversations where those questions are already being discussed. Not publish another product page, but go where AI is actually listening. And that's the connection between the citation data and the recommendations. They're not two separate sections. The recommendations are getting generated directly from what the citations are showing. So let's click in. So here you have a full brief, the suggested angle, a content summary, primary keyword, secondary keywords, and the section I always point people to is what's driving this recommendation. So this shows you the exact source already being cited in AI responses, which prompts it's tied to, and how many times it's been referenced. So you're not just getting a content idea, you're seeing the evidence behind it, and you can inspect the logic. And if we click over to the Impact tab, this is where you close the loop. So once you publish something from a recommendation, you'll paste the URL here, and HubSpot will actually track how often that URL gets cited in future AI responses. So you went from a gap in the data, to a recommendation, to published content, to a measurable citation impact, all in one platform. All right, so I'm going to give the screen back to you, Shannon, and kind of wrap this up, and thank you guys for my demo. So here is what I want you guys to take away from what we just looked at. HubSpot, one of the most recognized brands in CRM, has their own website accounting for 4%, around 4% of AI citations, while a competitor site accounts for more. They're invisible on the exact prompts where buyers are first recognizing they have a problem. And if that's HubSpot's picture, I want you guys to think about what yours looks like if you haven't checked yet. And the team's getting real results from AEO. They're treating it as a content operation system with clear prompt strategy organized by buyer stage, with regular citation reviews. Recommendations that actually get executed across all the channels AI trusts, not just blog posts. And the team's not seeing results, they set it up, looked at the score once, and they didn't know what to do next. And the data without interpretation, it's just noise. And that gap between having the tool and having a strategy, that is exactly where we work with clients and why it was so important that we talked about it on the webinar today. So, Miles, I'll hand it back to you, and I'm happy to answer any questions on AEO before we move on.
Well, thank you, Chloe. It's fantastic information. It really
Thank
is. One question that I would actually ask is, is this, especially because a lot of my clients would ask, is this kind of ongoing or is this kind of a one-time setup? I'm good. But, what would that look like?
It's definitely ongoing. So if you saw in some of those graphs that were showing up, that was only from the last 2 weeks. So AI models are shifting constantly. Competitors adapt, new prompts emerge. And the thing is visibility, it compounds. So the brands that are being cited today, they're a lot harder to displace 6 months from now, but the clients who stop, they end up losing the ground that they built. So yeah, definitely keep
Awesome.
up with it.
Good to know. Good to know. So at this point, we've brought in, the AEO. We've got people on the website. At this point, I'll introduce Sheena Hepper. Sheena, take it away.
Thank you, guys. So today, I'm going to be discussing the customer agent and the buyer intent and how that works within the revenue platform. Can we go to the next slide? Okay. So let me start by saying that every company has a target audience, but it's really difficult to measure the activity and track the marketing and sales tactics into actionable tasks. The buyer intent identifies who is ready to engage, and the customer agent determines how to engage them. But with the buyer intent, that's no longer a case. The tools within the company will show you the interest in their product, what companies to pursue to gain market share and grow product and service awareness. This is about being proactive. Once you've optimized your company with the AEO tool, the buyer intent module in HubSpot is the area that marketers and sales teams should be reviewing each month to review research activity and visitor activity, all geared at identifying accounts that are interested today. Buyer intent identifies the demand, and I can't say that enough. Customer agent captures and converts that demand. So the customer agent provides the inbound engagement and conversation experience to your visitors. Together, they create a full cycle AI-assisted revenue system. The customer agent is not just a support tool, it's a revenue growth tool. And if you use it correctly, the big idea here is every customer and prospect question is a revenue moment. From the minute they're asking about integration information, they're asking about how to get more support, what other features are happening. The customer agent helps to close the gap by answering questions instantly with approved business content. So it's not a flow that you are predetermined. It actually listens to the contact or the visitor, and it answers with the appropriate information. The customer agent handles the repetitive conversations so that your team can focus on the high value inquiries. Within the HubSpot community, the customer agent already resolves 65% of conversations and cuts resolution time by 39% across more than 8,000 active customers. This creates a clear business case for faster answers, fewer repetitive tickets, better conversion from high intent visitors, and more time for sales and service teams to focus on complex revenue generating conversations. So let me go into the demo and I'll take over the screen for a second. Can everyone see my screen? All right, awesome. So within the buyer intent, when you start to set it up, it will look kind of like this screen right here, where it's not a lot of information. And remember, this is about being proactive. Within the buyer intent, you configure a target market. Some companies have one, some of them have several. But these are markets either you're actively in or you're actively pursuing. It will show and address all the addressable companies that are in your market. And for this instance, we created a fictitious company called the Plant Company, and we'll be using that as our example today. So within that example, you will see that I have 2,500 companies that I could be pursuing to sell my product, okay? As a marketer, I can see what pages a person has visited, what contacts are available, and then how many unique visitors there are. And now for the fun part, the customer agent. The customer agent was developed to interact with the needs and the interests of your online visitors. The customer agent tool can be trained to review product, websites, product manuals, blog posts, and any approved sales tactics that you already have on file. So it is almost like your salesperson assisted agent that is here for you. In our demo, you can see that we created a page for the Plant Company, but we have asked several questions. So we are a visitor and we're asking what type of plants are available for a new business building. As you can see, Rose here has answered the question about what type of plants should be there, what are some examples. If you're interested in setting up some time, this is where this agent comes in. Is shipping available? Yes, shipping is available with pricing. So this is looking at website sales data to tell them what pricing looks like, what's the cost, how fast can we get delivery, timing and everything. So this is where if someone is not online, they're able to detect and answer the questions in real time. In addition, you will see down here that I asked how fast is delivery. It could not answer that question. So there is a handoff process within the tool that can detect if a salesperson is online and provide a link to schedule a call if they're not. And if they are online, the interaction is seamless and connects you with a live sales or support person to continue the conversation. In addition, I wouldn't miss out on Alaware's portion of the webinar because they really tie in the complete visitor experience with automated SMS and calling abilities. So as you can see here, I was able to pick up the chat conversation. I was able to ask about budget, get that information. That's all information that is valid for the sales team. And I did this all within the help desk by telling the system that I was available. And if it wasn't, I would be able to get a meeting scheduled. In this instance, if a contact is really serious about a sales process, HubSpot can automatically create a deal for the salesperson based on a trigger that they are interested in a sales. And this is what sales gets to see at the end when they take over. The handoff is seamless. Here you'll see all my conversations with the visitor. The sales agent will equip the sales team with all the details they need to close the sale. And I'll give it back to you, Shannon. So the big takeaways here are convert high intent visitors. Look at the pricing questions, look at the product questions, look at your demo request. Identify expansion opportunities to support those conversations. Have a seamless interaction between service and sales, and then qualify and route those visitors with ownership, notifying the right team, and booking those meetings faster. Miles, I'll give it to you.
I appreciate that, Sheena. Again, great information. One question that I would ask is, when it comes to the information that this customer agent knows, where is it getting its data?
So all the data is compiled by the team itself. So any sales tactics, any websites, any you can even use blog posts or other upsell opportunities to train it. There's also an opportunity to coach based on other questions that people are asking that the customer agent cannot answer. You have an opportunity to update the knowledge so that it continues to answer questions effectively.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Sheena. Again, as we continue into this process, as we're kind of walking in, again, people getting to the website, people are now using the website to move things forward. And of course, now we've got Sabrina here to discuss the next step in this process, prospecting agent. Sabrina, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Miles. So Sheena just showed us how AI can help capture and respond to intent across the customer journey. Now, I want to show what happens when your sales team needs to turn signals and account context into pipeline. That is where the prospecting agent comes in. It helps your team identify which accounts deserve attention, understand why they matter right now, and generate outreach that gives reps a stronger starting point. So a quick framing before we hop into the demo. This is not a template library or a sequence builder. HubSpot positions Prospecting Agent as an always-on AI sales BDR, and the Spring Spotlight 2026 version is organized around plays. A play is a prospecting motion. You define who you want to target, which signals matter, and how outreach should happen. From there, the agent helps prioritize accounts, explain the reasoning, and generate outreach your team can review and refine. For today, I'm going to show this in a very simple setup so you can see the core workflow clearly. And I do want to cover what changed in Spring Spotlight 2026 because HubSpot called this a complete rebuild, not just a feature update. 4 things are genuinely new. 1, smarter buying signals. The agent now surfaces high priority accounts based on signals like growth metrics, executive hiring, physical expansion, funding, mergers and acquisition, and more. Depending on your setup, teams can also bring in additional context like hiring trends, leadership changes, technology adoptions, website engagement, CRM engagement, and other indicators that suggest a company may be entering a buying cycle. 2 is full life cycle coverage. It can help map the buying committee, identify the stakeholders involved in a decision, and prepare your rep with context on recent activity, pain points, and why now is a good time to reach out. That pre-call prep piece is a big part of what makes the Spring 2026 version feel more useful for sales teams. 3, there's deeper multi-channel outreach. It's not just an email. Depending on what is enabled in your portal, Prospecting Agent can support call tasks, LinkedIn outreach, and automated email sequences. The bigger shift is that the agent can move from identifying an opportunity to recommending the next action. And 4, new pricing model. You now pay for recommended leads, not ongoing monitoring. That makes the setup more outcomes focused, and there's a 28-day free trial available to get started. So if you use this before Spotlight, what you're about to see is a different tool. So now let's get into the demo. All right. Can everyone see my screen? All right. So here in Sales Hub is where the prospecting agent lives. For our demo company today, we have Plant People Company, same business that Sheena used in her demo as well. We sell B2B wholesale houseplants and plant programs to offices, hotels, and commercial spaces. For this demo, we have Plant People Company set up with a focused ICP, offices, hotels, and design firms that are creating or refreshing physical spaces. The setup is deliberately simple, like I said. We're not trying to recreate a huge sales operation on screen. We are giving the agent a clear audience, clear signals, and enough account context to understand what makes a prospect worth attention. So this is our primary play for the demo. In-market prospects. And like I said, a play is where you define the motion. Who should the agent look at? What signals should it care about? what should happen when an account looks promising. For Plant People Company, this play is focused on companies that appear to be entering a buying cycle tied to space planning, guest experience, hospitality growth, or design projects. The simplicity here is intentional. Define the audience, select the signals, review the reasoning, and act on outreach. And inside the play is where the setup becomes really important. A play is not just a list of signals. It's where you teach the agent what a good fit prospect looks like, what they care about, and how Plant People Company show up in the conversation. So for this play, I've defined the persona we want to reach. We named him Monstera Mike, and you can see titles like office manager, facilities director, hotel general manager, and hospitality manager. Those are the people most likely to care about workplace experience, guest experience, vendor reliability, and the day-to-day reality of keeping a space looking good. I've also defined the value propositions here that we want the agent to lean on, including our zero maintenance guarantee, local delivery, hospitality and office expertise, single reliable vendor model, curated plant subscriptions, and expert curation. Then we pair those with the pain points, which you can see is like maintenance burden, dead plants, finding reliable suppliers, and making the space feeling welcome. Then we layer in the signals. HubSpot gives you a library of signal options, and you select the ones you want the agent to monitor across your target companies. For Plant People Company, I enabled signals like growth metrics, executive hiring, mergers and acquisitions, physical expansion, funding, research intent, and geo expansion. And what is powerful is how these pieces work together. A company opening new locations, expanding into new markets, hiring leadership, or gaining recognition may have timely reason to engage. But the agent is not just reacting to that signal in isolation. It's combining the signal with the persona, the pain points, and the value props we've given it. That is the important takeaway. You don't need every possible signal turned on. You need a clear definition of who you're targeting, what they care about, what you solve for them, and what changes might indicate they are ready for a conversation. That's how the agent helps your team focus on accounts that have a timely reason to engage rather than treating every prospect the same. So now let's take a look at one of the contacts that's enrolled in this play. So here is Emma Thornton, an office manager at Canopy Property Group. The agent has prioritized this account because it identified a meaningful growth signal. Canopy recently listed 4 new office buildings for lease, which creates an opportunity to outfit reception areas, common spaces, and tenant-facing environments. What I like about this example is that you can see exactly how the agent is connecting the dots. It has the company context, it has the CRM activity, and it understands the play we configured. Then it explains the reasoning behind the recommendation. That reasoning section is one of the most valuable parts of the experience. The agent is not just telling the rep who to contact, it's explaining why this account deserves attention right now and what business event triggered the recommendation. And this is where the prospecting agent really starts to feel different from a traditional prospecting tool. Instead of asking a rep to research the account, interpret the information, and decide what to do next, the agent brings those pieces together and provides a recommended course of action. And now we can generate outreach. So this email draft is built using the contact record, company context, buying signals, and the instructions we provided in the play. Even in a simple setup like this, the agent can connect those pieces to it, tighten the language, and make sure it sounds like something they would actually send, but they are editing instead of writing from scratch. And the same idea applies for the other demo contacts. Sophia Reyes is an interior designer working on a hospitality project and may need low maintenance greenery. James Holloway is a hotel general manager who recently opened a second hotel location. Each one gives the agent a different angle for prioritization and outreach. And for teams with more connected data, this can get even stronger. Website activity, forms, enrichment partners like our friends at Aloware, and additional buying signal sources can all add more context. But you don't need to start there to understand the buy-in and just discuss some quick best practices before I hand it off. So 3 quick best practices. First, set up your plays with intention. Vague criteria get vague outputs. So be specific about the signals that actually indicate buying readiness for your business. Second, start simple and make the context useful. A focused play with a few strong signals is better than an overloaded play with weak criteria. Concrete details like expansion plans, new locations, or active projects give the agent something meaningful to work with. Third, review the reasoning before you send anything. The reasoning tells you what the agent is using to make its recommendation, and that helps reps learn which signals are actually meaningful. And so that is the prospecting agent, rebuilt in spring 2026 to help sales teams move from signal to action. And I will pass it back over to Miles.
Thank you, Sabrina. I appreciate that. Again, great information. It's all kind of, just how it kind of goes from one to the next is really fantastic. One question, though, that I know would get brought up with some of my clients, if I have the prospecting agent going and I've got deals happening and things like that, is there reports that can be set up that allow me to track not only from, the beginning of this, but to the end goal, of course, being the customer?
Absolutely. Yeah. And all of the prospecting agent activity will be recorded on the contact record as well. So you'll be able to build out reporting based on the entire journey.
I love that, mostly because if anybody here has ever been in an onboarding with me, it's all about reporting. And that's all I really, I care so much about is what can I report on? Now, the next part about this, of course, last but not least, is our wonderful partner, Will from Aloware, discussing the conversion agent. Will, take it away, sir.
Thanks, Miles. Hey, everybody. My name is Will. I'm the director of product here at Aloware. We're an AI-driven, fully compliant phone solution and leading HubSpot technology partner with the deepest and most customizable integration on the market. Aloware dramatically increases speed to lead and connection rates. And today, I'll show you how we complete the sales engine being built that's been discussed across all the slides you've seen already by turning pipeline into qualified opportunities, syncing details surface back to HubSpot automatically, and keeping opportunities moving through conversion. So, studies from Inside Sales show your odds of qualifying a lead drop roughly 60 times. That's that number in the bottom left of your screen after just 5 minutes of delay. MIT research puts it even more starkly. Fewer than 2% of all leads survive a 5+ minute response window. So, AEO drove the traffic, the customer agent captured intent, the prospecting agent built the pipeline, but then the lead sits. Reps get to it when they get to it, and by then, 98% of that intent is totally gone. So Aloware uses the signals captured by the customer and prospecting agents to trigger automated outreach in under 60 seconds, while intent is still at its highest. And those calls get answered because the numbers are verified and recognizable. Alaware's branded calling displays your business name and logo on the buyer's screen like a saved contact. In a Twilio study of 720,000 calls, branded numbers hit a 62% answer rate versus 20% which were unbranded. So plugged into the engine that's being built today, that means 3 times more connection with high intent leads. So I'm about to show you how this works, and there are 4 key moments to watch for: trigger, talk, sync, and escalate. We've already touched on trigger and talk, which you'll see, but I really want to highlight sync as it's our anchor point here, the moment a conversation becomes structured HubSpot data automatically. Let's watch the demo. We might need to reshare with sound if that's possible. There's leads that visited our pricing page, and there's a number of configurations that we built here. You can have this do a number of things like filling out a form field, if you get a missed call, or if someone opens one of your emails. But this is just the example that we'll go with today. And so following down this sequence, we are going to do something that determines their fit score. And based on their fit score, we have a number of actions that can happen inside Aloware. Today, we're going to go over 3 of them. And if that fit score happens to be high, we know that we want to get in touch with that lead immediately or as soon as possible. So we're going to go ahead and roll that lead into a sequence where one of our Aloware AI agents will call them within a minute, under 60 seconds. Beyond that, if that lead is determined to have a medium fit score, we're going to enroll them into Alaware's Power Dialer. One of your agents will be able to reach out to them within the hour based on their workflow. And if the fit score is low, we can have Alaware send them a text automatically. A notification will be sent to the agent, letting them know that the lead received a text message, and any replies that the contact sends back to Alaware will be handled automatically by an Alaware AI text agent. To show you what it's like to be enrolled in the high fit score sequence, I have been replicating the behavior of someone with high buying intent for Alaware by doing things like visiting the website, checking out the pricing page, opening and responding to emails from the sales team. And today, right now, I'll open Alaware's pricing page again, and this will be my 3rd time doing so. And now I'm officially enrolled in that workflow, which will add me to that sequence, and I'll receive a call from the Alaware AI agent momentarily. So as you can see, I'm getting a branded call from Alaware. I'm going to go ahead and answer this. Put it on speakerphone. Hello?
Hey, Will. This is Brian. I'm actually an AI assistant over at Aloware. I saw you were poking around our site and figured I'd reach out while it's still fresh. You got a sec?
I do.
Awesome. Thanks for hanging on. So what caught your eye about Aloware? Are you looking more for outbound sales, inbound support, or maybe a mix of both?
I'm looking for a mix of both.
Okay. So you need the whole thing, basically, both inbound and outbound covered. What are you using right now for calls and texts? Is it a platform or more of a patchwork setup?
Well, I'm using RingCentral, and it is a bit of a patchwork setup.
Got it. So you're on RingCentral, but it's feeling a bit patchy. What's the main headache with that setup? What's making you look around?
Yeah, it would definitely be that patchwork setup. It's too many different things to log in and out of. I want more of a unified solution.
Yeah, that patchwork setup with too many tools to juggle is a common pain point. Alaware's all-in-one platform could really help there. Calls and texts right inside your CRM, no switching apps or logging in and out all the time. By the way, what CRM are you using? That way I can see how tightly we can integrate everything for you.
Yeah, I'm on HubSpot.
Oh, nice. HubSpot. That's actually where we're deepest. You'd literally call and text right from inside the contact record, and everything logs automatically without any extra work. How big's the team that would be using this? How many reps are we talking?
I have 10 agents.
Nice. A team of 10, that fits right into our U Pro plan, which is actually our most popular. It's about $70 per user per month and includes unlimited calls and texts, AI-powered dialer features, HubSpot workflows integration, call coaching, and more. Plus, everything logs automatically inside HubSpot, so your agents won't have to juggle multiple tools. Does that sound like the kind of setup you're looking for? Want me to set up a quick demo with the team so you can see it in action?
Yeah, sounds great. And yeah, you can go ahead and set up a demo. A quick question, are there any discounts?
Yeah, we do have discounts. If you go with quarterly billing, you save about 15% off the monthly price. Also, for smaller teams under 5 users, our flat rate packages like the $399 for up to 5 users can be a better value. Since you have 10 agents, the U Pro plan at $70 per user per month is probably the best fit, but the demo can help you figure out what makes the most sense for your setup and budget. And I'll get that demo scheduled for you now. What works better, earlier in the week or later?
Let's do earlier.
Sweet, I'll get you set up for a demo earlier in the week. You'll get a chance to see everything in action and ask any questions you have about pricing or features. I'll send you a confirmation text with the details and a link to reschedule if you need. Looking forward to it.
All right, thanks so much.
Got it, Will. I've set you up for a demo earlier in the week to walk through everything, including pricing and features. You'll get a confirmation text shortly with all the details and a link to reschedule if needed. If you have any other questions before then, just let me know. Thanks for your time.
Okay, so that's a conversation that happened within under a minute of me enrolling and checking out the pricing page, and all the details have been captured. So here in HubSpot, I have the segment open that I was enrolled in, and I'm showing my contact card in the single row that we have on the screen. You'll see these columns that are currently empty, showing configurations that are mapped to the conversation that I had with the Aloware AI agent. It has things like the current phone solution that I'm using, my pain point with that solution. We talked about pricing, the CRM platform that I was using, my use case, and my user size. There's more attributes on my contact, but we're showing these for demonstration purposes. And when I go ahead and refresh my page, we will see that these are now populated with my answers on that phone call, all automatically. So for the current phone solution, it correctly captured Ring Central. It knows that my pain point is too many tools. We talked about the price for Aloware. We see that HubSpot is shown as my CRM platform. My user size is shown as 10, and my use case, I think it might still be loading, so that's going to come in just a moment. But everything here is for the most part captured, and again, all automatically as part of that conversation. So now in HubSpot, my agents can interact with this lead and have as much information as they need to continue engaging with that contact. So what we're looking at here is a HubSpot workflow that we've created. Okay. So that's the conversation agent, the conversion agent that has a conversation with the lead. What you just watched was a real HubSpot workflow firing in our portal, a branded call ringing on my actual cell phone, the AI qualifying across customer criteria, and every answer landing as a structured HubSpot property automatically. So that's the entity map. The conversation is the data, and that's how Aloware helps close the loop. Thanks so much, everybody. Miles, back to you.
Well, I think I have to mirror Victoria in our chat that basically says I'm impressed and a little scared all at the same time, just because of how realistic that sounds. Do you guys get that often?
Yeah, I mean, we started to introduce this not too long ago, and the jumps in quality have just been, improving over time more and more. And so even sometimes I get a phone call from one of our new models, and I'm surprised myself. It sounds super natural. Really impressive stuff.
Yeah, and as it looks like Ruby in the chat already answered, it looks like setup is about 2 hours. I'm guessing you would mirror of how that long that takes.
Yeah, it depends on how much you want to configure. We have some options that can kind of like guide you into a more simple setup, but then, the sky's the limit in how much you want to be able to add, like we're talking about HubSpot properties and have that those custom entities synced into HubSpot. So it ranges, but yeah, it depends on how complex you want it to be.
Well, still, it's amazing. Thank you for all that, Will. As you guys have kind of seen, we're getting close to the end here. Just as we wrap up, I kind of want to bring everything back to the idea that we started with. This isn't about just individual AI tools, as you kind of can see. It's about creating them connected as they kind of work all together in kind of creating that journey, this visibility, as it kind of starts with, buyers are using these AI tools, these platforms, to do this research, find these solutions, to build these shortcuts. AEO helps ensure your company shows up in those conversations. And once buyers arrive on the site, customer agent engages them, answers the questions, and of course captures that intent in real time. Those signals feed into prospecting agent, helping those sales teams identify the right opportunities. And then finally, of course, Alaware's conversion agent helps close that speed to lead gap by just turning that interest literally into a meeting right there, as you guys saw. Just how quickly that happened. As Will mentioned, it's under a minute that happened. When all these pieces kind of work together, you create a system that just moves the buyers from traffic to engagement to pipeline to revenue. I can say that a billion times. The biggest takeaway again from today is, the future isn't more tools. It's better business outcomes through connected AI systems. That's what an end-to-end AI sales agent is all about. With that, I do want to open it up. If anybody we have a couple minutes left. If anybody has any questions that they want to bring into the chat or that haven't been answered, I'll take a look. It looks like we've got one right now from Carrie. What percentage of people answer the phone call? So I'll give this over to my Aloware team. Will, how would that be set up?
Yeah, so like in the slide, we see that after 5 minutes, that answer rate drops dramatically. But within that time frame, we see a very high percentage of calls that are answered by our agent, by the lead from the agent, and it's much more efficient to have that agent call automatically. And so, with the speed, with the branded calling, we see a much higher percentage of answer rate for those.
And it looks like
That's
you got, first of all, that's
awesome.
awesome. You've got, yeah, you've got one more as well. For the Aloware conversion AI, can it also close people? Meaning, can it just walk through the entire process?
So the agent is really designed to capture information and be able to hand it off to a real human. So as we saw, it captures information, it updates HubSpot. The human agent, the closer, will see that information and be able to really come in and provide that actual human touch and move the prospect. So the AI agent is primarily set up to start the conversation and get the information logged, and then passes it off to a human.
I appreciate that. Unfortunately, we're running up on time, so I'm not going to ask more questions, but I do want to make sure that everybody understands that, first of all, thank you to all of our speakers here today. Will from Aloware, Chloe, Sabrina, Sheena, thank you guys for being here. But any questions that you guys want to ask, we're going to be, making our meeting links available. Of course, if you can email us. All of the emails will be available in our follow-up. You're going to get the recording. You're going to get a few fun of our offers that we're just basically saying, hey, come ask us questions. As you can see, Will is very good at answering them. So the most important things for us is that we get to continue this conversation. So again, from everybody here, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate your time. And of course, have a great rest of your day. And I look forward to seeing you all on the next one. Everybody, have a good rest of your
Thank you,
day.
everybody.
Thanks all.
Thank you. Thank you.